Thanks for coming, man. I really appreciate it. I feel a really terrible presence in this place, and I want to contact it. Do you trust me?
Trust you? Are you out of your fucking mind? You're messing with a Ouija board, trying to contact spirits. You're lucky I'm here. You know, who else would be crazy enough to do something like this with you?
Okay. Let's get started. Is there a spirit among us? Did you move it? You're not fucking with me, right?
No, I'm not fucking pushing it. You gotta be fucking doing it. I know I'm not.
No, I'm not fucking with you at all. Uh, let's keep going. Are you friendly? Are you here to harm me?
You're so fucking screwed. Shouldn't have done this.
What's your purpose here? D E A T H. I can't do this anymore.
Let's ask one more question, Seth. What's the harm in that?
Okay. What's your name? B O B. I don't understand. That's you.
It's time to see some spirits, Seth.
Oh! Oh, it's just a nightmare. Oh man. Don't fuck with Ouija boards, guys, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there. Don't fuck with them. Oh man. And speaking of Ouija boards, this reminds me of the film I actually wanted to talk to you guys about today. Welcome everybody to Netflix Nights number 39, where I'll be talking about Veronica. But before I do, let's see what the good folks over at Netflix have for a synopsis for us today, shall we? In 1991 Madrid, after holding a seance at school, a teenage girl minding her younger siblings at home suspects an evil force has entered their apartment. Rated TVMA and from 2017. And, this film kind of snuck up on us, right? Because it just sort of landed on Netflix one day and they're like, here, watch it. And I was kind of like, okay. And I've been hearing a lot of things about this movie. Netflix has definitely been promoting this movie as like, oh my god, this is one of the most scariest horror films of all time. People can barely watch it. They get too scared to finish the movie. And, I thought to myself, I was like, I consider that a challenge. Because if you guys have been around the channel long enough, you know that I love horror movies. I think horror movies are awesome. I'm a huge horror movie aficionado. I'm a fan. And, we see so many of these sort of demonic entity exorcism films every single year. There's a ton of them that come out all the time. I was curious of like how is this going to stack up to a lot of those other movies. So I was like, I'm definitely going to give it a go. And basically, in a nutshell, the character of Veronica and a couple of friends at school one day, there's this sort of eclipse that's happening, and all the kids and staff are outside, but they're inside, and they're doing this experiment with a Ouija board. And recently, Veronica's father passed away, and she's trying to contact him. And basically, she contacts the wrong person, the wrong entity, and they come through and basically attach themselves to her. And no matter where she goes or what she does, basically this entity is now following her everywhere she goes. I have to admit that I think the characters are really likable and very relatable. Even the character of Veronica, who is played by Sandra Escacina, you really understand her struggles. You really understand the predicaments that she's going through. Basically, she is helping raise her siblings. Her mother is working like crazy, and she has to be practically the other parent. And all of the dilemmas that she's dealing with, and you just really feel for that character, and you understand why she is doing what she's doing, because she just wants to try to contact her father. And you just feel for that character. You feel sympathy for her. And you actually really feel for all of these characters, the younger siblings, Lucia, Irene, Antonito, even the mother Anna. You feel for all of them. And that's really important for this movie, guys, because I don't know about what you guys think, but the main problem I have with a lot of horror movies nowadays is that basically it's hard to feel for some of these characters in horror movies. A lot of times you just want them to die. Like, please just get off of the screen. And it becomes a struggle to like a horror movie, to try to invest yourself in these characters. And this movie, I had no problem doing it. I really did enjoy all of these characters. I really felt for them. And that did go a long way in making me enjoy this movie. And another thing that really made me enjoy the movie a lot is the fact that it takes place in 1991. We don't get the cell phones. We don't get the internet. We don't get that modern technology. And again, in horror movies, that's another problem, because when you have that modern technology, you just sort of say to yourself, well, why is all this going on when they could, in the press of a little click or something, just, like this, or, look up something on the internet, something like that. Here we don't have that. And I think, again, taking place in 1991 makes it more effective. It feels a little bit more helpless. And I think that also works, again, for the sense of dread and the sense of, oh my God, there's nowhere to turn to. And of course, being in the setting of Madrid, that's even better too, because again, you don't get the resources of the United States, and of course, more of a country that doesn't have the type of resources that we have. So again, all of that adds to the sense of dread and the sense of helplessness, and it really does work. And another thing that works for me is I think the scares work too. Yeah, there is a couple of jump scares that are kind of cheap, I'm not gonna lie, but some of the scares are actually really atmospheric and creepy, because this sort of demonic entity, we really don't see it exactly. We see it sort of in shadows or behind sort of glass. Uh, and what I love about it is that there's moments in the movie with the demonic entity, whether it'll like stand in one certain area and just like stand there, or like stare, or where it's like creepily walking around a corner. And it's those really quiet and subtle moments where you sort of get tensed up and you scare a little bit yourself, because you're like, oh my God, what is this entity going to do next? Or, where's it going to pop up? And it has really great atmosphere to it. And the scares, I think, are really honestly effective. And again, a lot of times in horror movies, guys, you know this, we get a lot of these like really cheap pop-up scares that, yeah, are effective in the moment, but you just really feel like it just kind of cheapened the experience. I feel like this movie doesn't do that. I feel like it really does go for a lot of really great atmosphere and a lot of great subtle creepiness, and I did really enjoy that a lot too. And what's interesting about this film is that it's directed by Paco Plaza. Now, if you have kind of heard of the name or is somewhat familiar, well, he co-directed the first and second Wreck film. And boy, those are really great films. I really love those films. Great, scary films, great zombie movies, awesome films. He also directed Wreck 3. Now, I'm not in love with Wreck 3, but I actually think it's a really solid film, and I really like that they went in a new direction in the Wreck series. So I think he's actually a really solid director, and I really like that he tried something new, and he went for a challenge with this sort of exorcism, possession, dark entity type of film, and it really does work. I think his directing is fantastic. All of the actors do a phenomenal job with the acting in it. The atmosphere, the settings, the cinematography, everything looks really, really well done. And, I will say this, you do get this big bombastic ending of, the entity trying to attack her and possess her and try to kill her. And, we've seen all these big dramatic sort of endings for these type of films, right? I still think it works because you care about the characters. If you didn't care about the characters, I think it wouldn't be as good as some of these other ones that have come out of recent years. But because you care and because you're invested, I think I think it works. I think that ending, the big bombastic ending, I think it works. But you know what I mean? It's not honestly that big and bombastic, anyways. It's very subtle, and honestly, I think it leaves you with a sense of just how much craziness this girl had to deal with and how just no escape. She had no escape or anything. And just how you feel almost trapped. Like you leave the film sort of feeling like, oh my God, I feel trapped like this chick does. And you just are like, oh my God, you need a breath of fresh air just to sort of calm yourself. Because again, it is that effective of a horror movie. Now, is it the most scary horror film of all time? No. I think that honor, to me at least, still kind of goes to The Exorcist. But I think this is one of those great second tier exorcism sort of entity type of films that is really surprisingly good. For something that just landed on Netflix, I think it actually really surprised me in a really pleasant way, and I really did enjoy it. And something else to ponder for you guys, this is based on a true story. It is based on a police case file that actually exists. It's online. Scans of it are online. You can find it out there. I found it through there and read up on it. Basically, it's called the Veronica case, and it takes its name from the neighborhood that the family had lived in. And the real teenager's name was Estefania, and she actually used a Ouija board for real. She did it at school, and she had basically tried to tell people that she was seeing supernatural presences, she was seeing shadows, she was experiencing seizures, and she was basically scared for her life. And she ended up passing away and dying of very mysterious circumstances in August of 1991. And that didn't stop then because her family was experiencing supernatural issues for a year before actually getting the police involved. And the police even saw some stuff. They experienced loud noises. They experienced doors opening up unnaturally. They experienced a crucified Jesus on the cross. All of this stuff they experienced, and all of it is unexplained, guys. Now, do I believe in all of this supernatural stuff? I have to admit to you guys, I definitely want the evidence. I want there to be solid evidence and proof. But yes, I do believe in it, guys. I feel like this stuff is real. It does happen. There is a lot of stuff in this world that is incredibly unexplained and unexplored. And I truly do think it exists, guys. I do think it exists. And I think movies like this and others like it are really warning signs of, to not mess with something that you don't understand. I know we want to contact our loved ones and I know we want to talk to our dead relatives again, but sometimes you just have to let the past be the past. And if you try to explore these weird and unexplained things in life, sometimes it'll bite you back in the ass. And there is real life cases that do document it. Stuff like this, it happens. So I don't go anywhere near it, but if you guys want to do that, is totally up to you. But God bless you. So that'll do it for Netflix Nights number 39. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Check out the other Netflix Nights. Check out the Blu-ray Out and About videos. Check out the movie reviews I do every single week. And other movie-related content on the channel. If you like my thoughts on movies and physical media, then definitely subscribe and become part of the Film Fan Nation, where I have a passion talking about movies and physical media. I hope you share my passion. If you do, definitely come on board the channel. And, if my nightmare and this movie doesn't say it, I'm telling you, don't fuck with Ouija boards. Don't fuck with supernatural stuff. Stay the fuck away from it, guys. Alright. I will see you next time for another Netflix Nights. Take care and stay safe and don't use any goddamn Ouija boards.